So welcome to this episode of The Rumble. My guest today is an actor. I haven't had too many of them. In fact, I look back, maybe one or two. The reason is not hard to explain. They're generally very private people. They are public personalities, but they're extremely private when it comes to their own lives. So I'm glad that I got this gentleman on my show. So welcome to the show, Ganesh.
Thank you so much, Madhav. It's a pleasure being here on Rumble.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I was intrigued by the fact that you come from Bombay, though of course I know you're a South Indian. So your start from there didn't mar your progress in Hollywood?
Definitely aided, I would say. I think Bombay is a very good training ground, so to say, for any actor, any artist. And obviously it's the city where I grew up. I was born there, did my engineering, did my Mr. India, I won Mr. India there, and eventually started from television. And television, while doing television in Bombay, that gave me the technical expertise to understand the medium. You know, because every day you're shooting, understanding camera angles, dialogue delivery.
And but isn't television the kind of medium where I hear people say that it's almost like impromptu? There is no planning. They just come there, write some lines, and you're off and running. Is it true, or is it long-term scripts are given to you and stuff like that?
No, I think you cannot kind of specifically say that about television. In fact, I know a lot of films that are shot in the way you described, where dialogues are written on the spot and given on the spot. So I don't think this is a handicap which is so as to say restricted to television. In fact, my experience was very good because I was doing a show on Star Plus, and it was a very corporate culture where these scripts were analyzed by the channel and approved before the day of the shooting. So
they run it past the channel?
Absolutely.
The channel bosses get to read it first?
Yes, so it's the producer and the channels, they synergize together. So the product that...
so it's all tailor-made for success?
Absolutely tailor-made, and well, success is something that's...
well, I mean, it's scientifically analyzing it.
Yeah, but at least as an actor, the processes are there. So that's what you want, ultimately. Success is not in your hands. It's the audience that decides.
Okay, what did you have to think about this writing scripts on the scene? On the sets. I know it's done very often. I talked to a few actors who said, in fact, they were all for it. Do you think that's a great idea to come?
Well, I've been fortunate that has not happened in the films that I have worked with. I've always worked where the director has been very clear, and they've started out with a script, bound script in most cases, but in some cases, what is a semblance of a script. Of course, what happens is on the day of the shooting, since it's a creative medium, you can't restrict it or define it that everything is within scope of this itself.
It will be exactly as written in the...
Yes, it evolves organically. You know, the movie evolves organically. So on the day of shooting, a few ideas might come to the director. The location might give it.
And people say it is those spurts of...
absolutely, that genius, that's
that inspiration that happens.
Yes, absolutely. So you have to be open to that. Even as an actor, you might plan to do a scene a certain way, but a certain idea might come to you on the spot, and that will just create that unexpectedness, that brilliance. So
and directors are open to that, in the sense, if you were to suggest something, would that be okay?
Well, every director has a style of working, I would say. But if you have a good working relationship with the director, you can always ask him that, I think this might work. Let me try it out and you tell me whether this works.
So you have time, like the previous day, to sit and read in your room what's going to come up the next day. You sort of prepare yourself?
Many directors give you bound scripts beforehand.
Okay.
So in that sense, not just the day before, much in advance you can do. But many cases, if they don't work with bound scripts, because a lot of times what happens is people want to keep their scripts very secure. Because you know what, a lot of plagiarism happens. So in that case, what happens, they might give you the scene a day before, they might discuss it with you.
Is that a serious problem, this leaking out of...
Oh yeah, totally.
It is?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that anybody can whack an entire movie idea, probably just a scene or something. Is it that closely guarded?
Well, what happens if we've seen in recent times, even with big filmmakers, film releases, and some assistant director or some writer claims rights on that. It's been a very common occurrence. And it's very difficult to comment that who is the guilty party here. But I believe two people can be
You mean guilty party for plagiarizing?
Absolutely. So you never know what really goes on, whether the party one actually narrated a story to party two, which went ahead and made a film out of that, or a scene out of that. You never know. And what happens is, ultimately, a lot of ideas are in the film industry, keep getting circulated over a period of time. Mr. X tells Mr. Y, Mr. Y tells Mr. Z.
Different languages, they move from one to
another. Yeah. So, it can happen. And two people can also get similar ideas. So it's always good if you've got something really unique, you've got to protect it.
Yeah, I was talking to a young actress from Malayalam, and she actually said that she did a movie. She was given a script, and then she said, as I read through the script, I was quite horrified because it was hopeless. But then the movie went on to become a hit because she says the director came every day on the sets and changed everything. So what she read and she was really worried about a bad story turned out eventually to be a good one because it was almost like impromptu.
Right.
And it was going back and forth like most cinemas. They're not shot linear.
Right.
So, you know, which is the first scene, which is the last scene. So, it just went along and became well.
Right.
Do you contribute to the writing in any way?
Well, no, I'm completely a director's actor. But what happens is with certain directors who are very open in their mind, once they narrate a script to you, they give you the ownership of the character. They ask you to go back, think about it, and get suggestions on the table. Okay. When that happens, you have a certain perspective of the story. There's a director's perspective. So when you add that, it's about, no two people will see the world in the same way. The way you see the world, the way I see the world, both will be different. But if we synergize, we will get a bigger picture of the world. So it's that way. But it's again, like I said, some directors are open to it, some are not. So you've got to find.
I heard from another young aspiring cinematographer director. He said that the way he went about it is before the shooting actually started, he used to distribute the script to everyone, and they used to have readings. And I know that this is part of theatre, but is that part of cinema making?
Well, I'm told it happens nowadays very commonly in Bollywood. Where the entire team, and I really would love this. This I've experienced in Unnai Polovan. Okay. So that's why it was wonderful because 4 days before the shooting of Unnai Polovan, we were doing this in Ramoji Rao Film City, Hyderabad. All the actors, the technicians got together in one big room, and Kamal sir and director Chakri Torati, they would read from scene 1 to scene Z. Okay. Right, and everybody is present over there, and everybody is contributing. Not just to my scene. So when I'm reading a particular scene, I know what that guy is doing in his scene. He knows what I'm doing in my scene. So the entire picture, the film, is in your head. So you know that you're that important cog in the wheel. Okay. Or
you're not, whichever way it is.
Whichever way it is. Know that. But what really happens is it's basically a sense of ownership. I really believe that when you give an actor the role and you give him a sense of ownership, he can come out with really brilliant stuff. That's really extracting the potential out of the actor. But if you just give him instructions like start, stop, sit, stand, you're just not exploiting the potential that is there in that person. So I feel this kind of filmmaking, which I experienced while working with Kamal sir, I think it really brings the best out in everybody, not only actors and technicians. It's very collaborative, and which is the gist of cinema, you know.
So you heard it from the man who's been actually on the set that he does like, putting his own inputs into a movie. Though I know a lot of them absolutely hate it. They just want the actor to just listen to what I say. When you come back in the second part, we'll find out who are the people that he really enjoys working with, because it's, there are all sorts of people in this business. So when you talk about your time during the process of making a movie, do you interact with your stars after you finish the day's work, or is it you just go back to your room?
No.
Ponder over, what am I going to do tomorrow?
All the time. I'm interacting with them all the time.
Yeah.
I think you can create magic on a movie screen only when you know the people you're working with inside out. You know, their dreams, their aspirations, their approach to a certain character.
Or even their impressions of that role.
Absolutely. And they might have a specific angle or impression on your role, which might basically make you look at it in a new way, which you've never seen before. Okay. I've been particularly very lucky because right from my first film, Abhiyam, where I played this Sardar,
yes.
I worked with Prakash Raj sir, and he was so forthcoming in his inputs about how I can do this character, and I had conceived it in a certain way. Radha Mohan had his ideas, Prakash sir put his input. So I could see everyone's perception, and I could pick and choose what really I thought well and connected with. It's sometimes a lot about what you connect with. Because when you connect with something good,
you say, hey, that's a great idea.
Yeah, and you can portray it more authentically. You can, there are 100 ways of playing character.
True.
You get to choose, but you've got to explore all the 100. You can't just play it with the first thing that comes to your mind.
So how do you get to do that?
Well, very, very simple. Obviously, when a character is narrated to you, a story is narrated to you, you look at it in a certain way.
Yeah.
You sit with your director and you start, telling him, is this what you have in mind, and he can correct you over there. Okay, maybe this is not this is what I want.
This also presupposes that the director actually knows what the hell he's doing.
Yeah, obviously. And you must surrender to the director. That is one given, because if you work, irrespective of his experience, even if he's a newcomer, and you've done, say, 20, 30 odd films, but he's always the captain of the ship. Okay. And it always works when there's only one captain. I've seen many cases where the actor tries to direct a certain scene and it's not really what the director conceives, but you've got to respect his job.
When everybody knows what you're saying is true, why do they do that? Why does the button to the director's area?
See, again, it's a creative medium, right? Everybody wants the film to be successful or the story to work.
Yeah.
At that point, when you're shooting, you really don't know what will work or what will not. I still think that irrespective of what your experience is, it's best to see in the pre-production when you get the story from the director. That's when you make your decision whether you want to surrender yourself to the director or not.
So you figure out this guy knows where he's
going. Yeah, and once you decide that, you take a leap of faith.
Okay.
So there should not be any back steps taken during shooting and stuff. That's what I believe in. Yeah.
And your co-stars, how important? Do you ever get good input from them? They're all busy with their own.
No, I was speaking to a couple of actors who were two generations before me, and they used to say that it was so beautiful in the earlier days, because nowadays you have caravans where an actor sitting in one room, the co-star sitting there.
Runs into air conditioning, whatever.
Correct. And in those days, they had one big place like AVM Studio or wherever, and all the actors were sitting on that one shooting floor. So they used to talk, they used to have their tea together, their lunch, dinner together. So it was like a family. The atmosphere was like a family and bonding, and that ease showed on camera. But today, a lot of times what happens is the actor and the actress, say they're doing a romantic song, they haven't met. The first day they're starting to shoot a romantic song. How is it going to come? How is it going to look?
Chemistry is going to look
good. And acting is an organic art. So unless you make that effort to become good friends, talk stuff, and not just about the film, about the way you look at life, and just general stuff, about some fun stuff, and get that free-flowing chemistry or friendship going, then it definitely does translate on the streets. But you have to make that effort as an actor.
Well, you're talking actor as in a...
See, generally what happens is directors make the medium very conducive for this to happen. He makes it very comfortable for the two actors to react on set, for the friendship to happen. Well, this happens, it's a very common thing in Hollywood. They have these, that's the reason they have so many meetings, readings, like you said, pre-production meetings, involvements and stuff, much before the shooting happens. So, on the shooting spot, you're already very familiar with each other, you're friends. Okay. So it becomes very free-flowing.
I was listening to one youngster who said that, this is what his plans were. I don't think he ever got around to making a movie, but if he ever did get to, he'd do it this way, which is get all his actors to sit around a big table, and give everybody the script and do a reading from end to end where each one is allowed to reinterpret whatever's in the script. So he says, some actors said, hey, if I'm supposed to be an assassin, and this is the line I'm supposed to say to this guy before I shoot him, I'm not going to do it. This is stupid, this is ridiculous, I'm not going to say things like that. Then you get a chance to reinterpret actions, and that when it's approved by everyone. But then I guess you can't run filmmaking like a democracy, you can't get approvals. Like you said, I think, go with the director, he says it sounds good.
No, on some level this is good, because he's basically saying brainstorm. Brainstorm enough and think out of the box completely and get good ideas. Get ideas that work not only for the character involved, but for the film also as a whole.
Yeah.
Right? And of course it will be kind of, the entire brainstorming will be superseded or will be governed by the director or whoever is the final deciding authority. It's a good thing. But all this is to ask for too much. It doesn't happen. It really doesn't happen.
Limited time, I guess, you got to put it everything. Yeah. What's your view on music in films? What do you think we should even have this much thing in cinema? Everybody says, oh, that's Indian cinema, you take it or leave it.
Well, structurally, we've always made musicals. Indian cinema, right from the earliest days. And even in our culture, we've been very, very rooted with music, and not just every kind of music. Classical and now with influences of everything, there's Western.
But cinema making used music as a tool to push the story forward.
True. 9
times out of 10. It's not a mind.
But I think Indians react better to music. We react in the visual medium better to music. Like, of course, music is a standalone thing also. where you can, one way of looking at it is restrict music to just, concerts or, let it have its own independent life. But the way things have evolved in India today is films, we can't separate the visual and the audio medium. We've loved our films, like if you've seen in recent times films like Ashiki and all, the music has been really good. There, that synergy really works. But then there have also been great films where the storyline is brilliant, but the music is just a deterrence or a speed breaker in that. But I think today the audience has evolved so much that both kinds of films are appreciated. You have films like Unai Kolovan where there's no song in the whole film. It's a taut thriller from beginning to the end, and people
don't need it. And but in the old days, they would have shoved in a few songs.
They would have shoved it, but audiences accepted this format. And then you have another type of film where you have 2-3 songs as a commercial pot boiler, like say Anegan or wherever, shot in pictures, locations where they're going in ice cap mountains and all. People are loving that also.
So there you go. See, cinema, you go on getting different points of view from different worlds. But I'm still interested in knowing what exactly does he think of music within the film. Is it important or not? So we used to have specific singers who used to do only film singing. Like Lata or S. Janaki sang film songs and nothing else, or mostly.
Yeah.
So nobody could just walk in and sing a film song. But now that exclusivity seems to have gone, singers have a smaller career. Is it similar for actors? Are they also finding that they're going to get shut out with constantly new breed of actors coming in? Do you have time to build a career in cinema?
Well, I'll tell you what has changed really. The entire way you look at what an actor is, what you define as an actor has changed. Previously, a lot of people would have very limited definitions saying, as an actor, I want to do films only. I want to do television or I want to do stage. Films is what I want to do. Today, we are in that age after the satellite revolution has come, the internet revolution has come. So many platforms and mediums are available. And every platform, if the content is good on it, it's a hit. You start from radio, stage, you move on to television, you move on to theatre, and you move on to the internet medium today. Whether it's YouTube or mobile phones, or tomorrow some new mediums might come.
Yeah.
So every actor who's gone and walked along with this change, even for actors, it's always about being relevant, right? What was there 5 years back may have changed today, 10 years back it will change. You've got to keep moving with the time. I have, when I worked with Amit Ji on Kandahar, and I had a long discussion with Amit Ji because he's been someone who's been relevant for so many years. And he is somebody who's worked across mediums. And he's done everything from...
he's not been scared to go into any new thing.
Comparing, singing, TV, everything he's done. So when I asked him this question, he told me that, he said that in the years to come, as long as the content, and this was also advice that he told me, is as long as the content is good and it excites you to get up out of your bed and go do it,
go to work.
The platform really doesn't matter. He said it could be radio, it could be theatre, it could be TV, it could be films, it could be anything.
Music videos,
yes, anything. It could be singing, anything. It's the content that should inspire you. And that is so true because ultimately, when I come back and see people who've kept their definition as entertainer rather than just actor. I'm an entertainer, I do anything to entertain my audience.
Okay.
Right? That's the most broad-based and relevant definition which seems to, which will hold true even for the next 10-15 years. So, you see today a lot.
That should hold for almost virtually ever.
You see cricketers becoming commentators. You see chefs doing their show and entertaining you.
Correct.
You see, like I was chatting with you earlier, a kid on YouTube reviewing toys is an entertainer and is a hit.
True.
So, there's no definition of what an entertainer today is. It's fluid.
But there's still a huge mystique about cinema.
Yes.
Which no other area, no other field seems to be able to approach.
Right.
What is the magic of cinema that, if you can analyze it?
Since I remember as a child, it's that entire shared movie-going experience. When you go into a movie theatre and everything's shut, it's dark, and there's about 500 to 1,000 people in the hall, all are witness to the emotions of characters on screen. You're going through their different life processes, different emotions, and you're not disturbed in that moment. There's no cell phone call coming, there's nobody disturbed.
There used to be no cell phone.
Yeah, but more or less it's still that way. I mean, you'd have people shouting behind your back if you take phone calls on an interesting scene.
Selfies.
Yeah. So I think it's that shared movie-going experience, and which is very unlike at your home where you can pause, just go inside, pick up a cup of coffee or make a call and come back.
Or was it because that's always larger than life?
Larger than life, of course. A huge screen, larger than life, that entire experience. And it's an audio-visual experience, right? the kind of music systems that we have in theaters today, the huge 3D quality screens or
do you subscribe to all those 3D? Do you believe really that's a step up from 2D? You like being inside cinema, people jumping over your head and all that?
It is a different experience. I definitely did enjoy Avatar in 3D. I enjoyed Interstellar. Interstellar was fabulous, and I saw it in the 3D dome. So definitely, it's about a unique experience.
Those kind of stories will fit that because it's space and stuff.
Not everything.
Yeah.
I can't see people dancing to entries in 3D.
Correct.
I don't want to.
Will it ever work? There's a new technology coming where they can convert almost anything into 3D by superimposing yet one more layer on top, and it creates a kind of depth. Will it make a difference to?
Well, for one, you watch everything in 3D, you get bored. It will be like overdoing it.
Yeah.
And it's also not good for the eyes, I believe, to see everything in 3D.
That I don't think that the TV manufacturer bothers about your eyes. No, but seriously, will 3D really be the norm? Because they're always talking about it.
3D cricket was in for 3-4 years back. I remember 3D TVs coming with 3D cricket. You might have remembered. I don't think it caught on so much.
No,
I'm not sure.
I mean, I don't even remember hearing about it.
They had 3D TVs.
So your experience in South Indian cinema has not been very long as compared to what you did in Hindi, or is it about par?
No, Hindi was just a year. I just worked 1 year in Hindi.
Did you work in cinema there, or you stuck to television?
No, I didn't start. I was only my early years. I did my Mr. India. I won Mr. India. I was doing some modeling, and then I got an opportunity in a television serial.
One thing that always do all male actors dub their own voice, or do male actors also have their voices dubbed by a professional voice for the?
I don't think it's a function of male or female. It's your proficiency in the language. It's simple. If you're good in the language, then you must dub for yourself.
No, but is it happening here in South India? Do you use your own voice?
Yeah, I've been dubbing for my.
Yeah, but let's say you get somebody else who comes in from somewhere. Obviously, Shah Rukh comes and does a role here. It will be dubbed, I would imagine.
Definitely.
Why do all the girls insist on getting their voice dubbed? They all sound like. I once went for a show, an award ceremony, and I think it was Madhav, somebody sitting next to me, the actor. He said, if you keep your eyes closed, you would imagine that all the awards were won by the same actress. Every movie had the same voice.
Yeah,
so there's some
good observation.
Yeah, if you didn't know, you'd say, hey, what's up? This woman is winning everything.
Right.
But why is it so critical that they go?
A lot of our actresses are not from Tamil Nadu. So obviously they have somebody dubbing for them. And I think a lot of Tamil speaking girls also, nowadays I think more of them are making an effort to come and speak.
Is it because they don't have live sound, sync sound happening on set, or is it because
no, that's not really happening? Maybe they don't speak the language correctly, the accent is not correct, or the diction is not correct.
No, but if you were to say the words on while shooting, that can go straight into the.
No, we don't do sync sound in it. There's too much ambient sound.
No, it happens everywhere in the world. Where can you cut ambient sounds?
You have a lot of.
I mean, you have better technology there, which will probably weed out all the this, that.
And it's just a process that we've stuck to. We've been doing. There are of course exceptions. Mani sir, Kamal sir. They do a lot of live sound, and they do a little patchwork with the dubbing in certain cases. But 90% of the industry operates still on.
So what are your favorite kinds of movies that you're doing so far? Are you sticking to romance, youthful, or shall I punch up a few guys in action movies is your forte?
Well, I've been fortunate enough to work in all genres. Okay. Be it romantic comedies, be it thrillers.
What comes easy to you? Easier?
I think action comes easier.
Yeah?
Action is, because I'm a guy who's into fitness, I go to the gym, and I've been trained in martial arts, so I like doing action films. Okay. And it's also not just that, it's my role in Unai Pororum was very well appreciated by people. So for me, it really matters because at the end of the day...
You're a policeman in that way.
Yeah, I was an undercover cop. So
yeah,
it matters to me how the audience, what they like. Ultimately,
so do you get recognized just about anywhere when you go?
Yeah, in Tamil Nadu, yes.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, let's hope you get recognized more and more around the world.
Thank you, Madhav.
Best of luck. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Madhav.
Live with us. Thank you.